Someone mind getting the right door? Good evening. Please find your seats. I call this meeting to order. Welcome to the 18th meeting of the 2021-2022 Student Government Association Senate. We'll now move on to roll call, beginning with the Academic Affairs Committee.
All present.
Thank you. Seesaw?
Chair Henson, not present.
Thank you. Coe?
All present.
Thank you. Kodai?
Chair Forbes, not present.
Thank you. Club Affairs?
Chair Wong.
I'm going to assume all present.
Nice.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Excellent. Finance?
All present.
PR?
All present.
Kolka?
Senator Michael and Senator Kane are taking an accounting test, so they will be here ASAP.
Cool. Thank you. We'll now move on to public forum, beginning with Jennifer Dickinson, talking about the Catamount Core curriculum. And I'll pull up your slides for you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Jay Dickinson. She, her, hers pronouns. I am the Vice Provost for Academic Affairs and Student Success. And Sarah Ploud invited me today to just give a quick overview of the Catamount Core, and afterwards I'd be happy to take questions on this or on any other items related to academic affairs. So the first thing I want to say, for those of you who haven't heard this before, the Catamount Core is our new gen ed program. It debuts in fall of 2023. And it will only apply to students who enter in fall 2023 or later. The exception would be if you choose to change catalogs. For example, your major requirements change and you say, gosh, I like those new requirements better for me, and you move to a new catalog that is after 2023, then you would do these. So for the vast majority of you, you won't be doing these requirements. However, if you're here in fall of 2023, you'll see them come up as search options in the catalog. And when you're registering for classes, you might see these attributes related to these come up. So it's great that you'll know about it, and you'll also know that the students coming in after you will have this new gen ed program. So I want to start off with the news from this fall. We have a new Catamount Core Curriculum Committee. It's up and running. It's been accepting proposals for all categories as well as existing categories. So the other thing you should know is that the existing categories of D1, D2, SU, and the foundational writing requirement are remaining. The QR requirement has been split into two separate requirements. So now there's math and quantitative and data literacy. So in fact, all of the current requirements are being kept in some form. We have elected and appointed reps representing all of the units, as well as the Student Services Collaborative, which is Dean's office staff. And we also have a student rep. As of the February 1st meeting, we'd had 76 courses submitted, which might not sound like a lot, but that is a great start since we're expecting the College of Arts and Sciences to hit us pretty hard with a whole bunch of course submissions this spring. And our goal is to have enough classes approved by the catalog deadline of February 15th of next year, of 2023, in order to really launch the curriculum and feel like we have a lot of bases covered as students enter under that new curriculum. Of the classes we've had submitted, 30 are in liberal arts categories. I'll go over those in a minute. 14 are in the area of core skills, so a lot of those were quantitative and data literacy classes. 33 were in Common Ground Values, and 10 of those were in the new category of Global Citizenship. So the new curriculum is designed to reflect UVM values, and it offers opportunities for all of the units at UVM, so all of the colleges and schools, to contribute through course offerings and in terms of how they present the core as relevant to their specific undergraduate programs. So here are the just the general rules of the Catamount Core. We used to call these guiding principles, and then someone pointed out that at this point they're just rules, so here we have the rules. There are actually 42 credits required, but you can complete those 42 credits in 40 credits. So we anticipate that most students will actually complete all of the requirements in fewer than 40 credits. So there are 3 curricular areas: liberal arts, core skills, and common ground values. I'll show you what those are in a minute. Students can double dip, but they still have to take 40 credits of Gen Ed approved courses overall. So what we anticipate is that students, for example, might take a class that's both SU and D2. They've sort of doubled up on that, and that frees up credits, and usually through their major program, they'll actually complete the full Catamount Core as they move through. So they can just complete extra math if math is part of their program. They can complete extra humanities if history is part of their program, for example. One of the other principles is central approval. There's one university-wide Catamount Core Curriculum Committee that approves courses. The current Gen Ed committees, this is sort of from last year, have all been folded into the larger committee. So the individual committees, some of you may know people who've served as reps on those, like the Diversity Committee or the Sustainability Committee. Those have all been folded into the Catamount Core Committee. All Catamount Core courses have to be approved based on established criteria for each Gen Ed requirement. So there are applications that faculty fill out for every single requirement, and those requirements are based on particular criteria. You have to meet certain outcomes, they have to qualify in other features, and that's what's being applied. So there's no blanket like all classes in the math department fulfill math. Each individual course has to put forward to meet the criteria. What's great about that is it actually opens up whole new areas. For example, in the quantitative and data literacy category, we anticipate that actually almost every department on campus could put forward a class that would qualify for quantitative and data literacy. It's not just for stats classes, it's for any class that meets those criteria. And finally, multiple designations. We currently have courses that have multiple Gen Ed categories. That will be true also in the future, but we would anticipate that there would be no more than 3 designations. You can imagine how hard it would be to fulfill 4 or 5 different designations. Your class would be all about fulfilling those different criteria as opposed to actually teaching the course. Okay, any questions about this before I move on?
I would recommend that you save all questions to the end, just so
Okay.
not to open it up.
All right, you don't want me to get derailed. So this is just a quick visual. I can talk about this for a really long time because I've spent the last 2 years of my life on it, sadly enough. But anyway, this is a visual that kind of takes you through what those 3 categories are that I talked about before. In liberal arts, there's arts and humanities, social sciences, natural sciences, and then what we're calling pure mathematics. Core skills are quantitative and data literacy, so that's more application of math skills as well as things as data representation, visualization, and interpretation. Communications 1, so some of you may have experienced this as a FWIL foundational writing class, so it's been renamed WIL 1. And in Communication 2, you have a choice between taking a 2nd-tier writing requirement class or an oral communication class. Then finally, we have common ground values. This is where many of our existing Gen Eds are going to live. Diversity 1, Diversity 2, sustainability, and a new global citizenship requirement. There's 2 pathways for global citizenship. You can fulfill it by taking a class that is about global problems and processes, or the 2nd pathway has a wide range of skill-based criteria. It could be a service learning course, it could be a language course, so there's many different pathways that are outlined there that through course approval to get the GC2 requirement. Let's see. The one thing I wanted to point out about this, I can't remember. So it'll come to me later, finally. As I mentioned before, the Catamount Core Committee is doing all of the course approvals for this curriculum. This is a joint ad hoc committee. It's going to become a Faculty Senate standing committee over time. I think for the first 2 years, so this current year and next year, because of the volume of work that needs to be done, it's being hosted as a joint committee between the Provost's Office and the Faculty Senate. Right now, it's being led by Pablo Bose, who's the Provost Faculty Fellow for the Catamount Core. We do have elected members, and then we have some appointed members, including a student rep. And as I said before, it takes on all the work of those previous committees. So quick implementation timeline. We did a lot of work last year to get the committee up and running, to get the final approval of the curriculum going. This year, we've launched the committee and we've begun course approvals. We hired an assessment postdoc who is designing the assessment plan for this whole curriculum. And we're working on building capacity through faculty development and opportunities in several of the new areas of the curriculum. So the other thing that's going on, I remembered what I wanted to say. Some of you may be asking, is this new curriculum going to replace the individual requirements that I have in my college? And the answer is no. What each college and school has been asked to do is to align their curriculum with the Catamount Core. In many cases, all that means is to clarify how your existing categories, like some have arts and humanities, others have humanities and literature, how do your existing categories line up with the new gen eds, and to make sure that everything is appropriately represented there. Other colleges like the College of Engineering and Mathematical Sciences and the College of Arts and Sciences have more extensive work that they need to do to align their curriculum and make sure that everything is getting covered. In some cases, like in SEMS, you'll find they have more math than is required, whereas, excuse me, in the College of Arts and Sciences, there will be more humanities than is required. So throughout this year and next year, we'll be working really hard to get enough courses approved so that the incoming class in the fall of 2023 can complete their curriculum and have a lot of course choices. Students entering before fall of 2023, as I said, will continue with your previous curriculum. And in the coming years, we'll be assessing progress, and we'll kind of be looking back sometime in the first 4 to 5 years of the curriculum to say, are these categories working? Is this combination working? What can we do to improve the curriculum? And that's really going to be the time we're going to be making some tweaks to the categories. If you'd like more information about the current requirements or about the Catamount Core, the process by which it was created, and the requirements, all of that is available on the general education website. So those were all the slides that I had. I'm happy to take questions about that or about anything else related to academic affairs.
Excellent, thank you. We have questions beginning with Senator McCurry.
Hi, thanks
Hi.
for coming in. So you mentioned D1 and D2 courses, which I have taken a lot of those. I was wondering, because I feel like I've talked to some people and there's been some confusion on how those are defined. How do you define a D1 and a D2 course? So I was wondering, could you go over the criteria for what a D1 and a D2 course looks like?
Sure, so the criteria, I'm wondering if I can, do you think I can get to this website here? If you are ever curious about the specific criteria for, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Sorry. If you are ever curious about the specific criteria for a category, you can go to the Catamount Core webpage, and there's a button that says look at the additional information forms, and those lay out all of the outcomes and criteria for each requirement. To put it kind of briefly, D1 is race and racism in the United States. It has to deal specifically with issues of race and racism, and it has to be within the United States. And there's also a content percentage requirement. D2 is much broader. It's basically all kinds of other forms of difference that may or may not intersect with race in the United States. So it can be about gender diversity, sexuality, even to some extent socioeconomic diversity, as well as a lot of D2 courses offered in the College of Arts and Sciences are going to be about cultures outside of the United States and Europe. Okay?
Awesome, thank you.
Okay.
Senator Haley.
Hi, thank you for coming in. My first question was actually answered. I was questioning the requirements between the university requirements and the college requirements, so I appreciate you giving me some clarity on that. My second question might sound a little ignorant, but what is the current requirement for gen eds, like credit-wise?
The current requirement is, let's count it up, it's foundational writing, information literacy, QR, D1, D2, and SU. So that is 15 credits. And we're going to 40. And the reason is that our accreditor requires 40, and we've been hanging out here at 15 for a really long time. So it was time to make some progress and move up to, take a big leap up to 40. And mostly that's by folding in the liberal arts, which were required in almost every college. But that was a big chunk of getting us there and really acknowledging that each of those areas needs to be included as part of our general education.
Thank you.
Chair Wood.
Thank you for coming in. So I saw on your slide, D1 is 3 to 6 credits, and then D2 is 0 to 3. Why is D2 becoming optional, or was I misreading that?
So this is, depending on which college you're in, you may have never known this, but the actual requirement is either 2 D1 classes or 1 D1 and 1 D2. And when we were proposing the new curriculum, it was very important for some people that not change at all. They wanted an explicit acknowledgement that that was not changing. So that's why it's represented that way. However, depending on what college you're in, you may or may not have that choice. So in the College of Arts and Sciences, you can take as many D1s as you like, but that won't fulfill your college level requirement.
Senator Henry.
Hi, thank you for coming in tonight. I have, yes, 2 questions. How often is the core curriculum changed?
So the process of getting Gen Ed in place at UVM started in the late 1970s. And we actually got Gen Ed in place in 2011. And then it started out with just SU, D1. Well, we had D1 and D2. Before that, there was only the PE requirement. And then they added SU, foundational writing, and then QR was added. And that's sort of where we stalled out in the mid-2010s.
Thank you. This seems like a much needed update. My second question is, will this change like the total number of credits you need to graduate, like in a degree audit? Because I know personally for my major in the College of Arts and Sciences, it's like 120. So will it go up to like, I can't do simple math, but like 150, 160?
No, it won't. Okay. So that is why it's so important that the colleges and schools align their curriculum with this, so that almost every curriculum already requires most of these things, but they have different names, or there's a lot more variation in how you fulfill those requirements. This is just getting everyone into a similar paradigm for completion. So this should not affect the number of credits that are needed in order to graduate.
Awesome, thank you.
Senator Dravin.
Hi, thank you so much for coming in. I have 2 quick questions that you might have already covered the basics of. The first one, can you explain what the catalog switches that you talked about at the beginning were? I'm a little confused on those.
Okay, so yeah, I try to stay away from all of the acronyms that we use, like PATH and SOC, but when you go into the schedule of courses each semester, you may have noticed, I don't know if you've been here long enough to notice that it changed a couple of semesters ago. So that would be the search that you're doing to find the classes, and that pulls information actually from the catalog to tell you things like, these are the requirements that this fulfills, these are the prerequisites associated with this course. So that's what I was referring to, is that schedule of courses search that you can do to find the classes that you're interested in. You'll actually be able to say, I'm looking for a humanities class that's also a D1 and that meets on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it'll pull up things with those attributes.
That makes a lot of sense. Also, my other question was about the 4C committee.
Yeah.
Has that already been formed, or what would the size be in the funding? Like, where would the committee lie, sort of?
So right now it's a pretty big committee. I think we have 26 members, and that includes a student rep. And it has been formed. We started meeting with a retreat in August, and it's been meeting monthly. Right now it's an ad hoc committee, so it's jointly sponsored by the Provost's Office and the Faculty Senate. But because it deals with curricular matters, it falls really under the purview of the Faculty Senate. So once we get that curriculum launched in the fall of 2023, it should become a university standing committee that sits with the Faculty Senate, like the Curricular Affairs Committee or any of the other committees they have. To do that, they have to make some bylaw changes, and so they're going to make the bylaw changes next year, and then in the fall of 23, that committee will debut as a standing committee of the Faculty Senate.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Senator Johnson.
Hi, thank you for coming in. I just had a quick question about the global citizenship requirement.
Yeah.
How is that different from the D2 requirement?
That is such a good question. So if you look at it would have been nice if I'd created a side-by-side slide. The D2 requirement really focuses on those diversity type outcomes, taking different perspectives, understanding the breadth of human diversity. The global citizenship requirement focuses on globally issues and problems that are global in scope or that span across countries. So these would be issues like migration, global health issues, and so on and so forth. It doesn't mean that they're mutually exclusive, but they really are focused in different directions. So when I say that in 4 or 5 years we're going to review the curriculum, I think one of the things that we're watching for is to see whether those categories converge. So the classes that we're seeing in D2 and Global Citizenship 1 get more similar to each other, or they really each find their own separate niche. And if it's the former, we'll probably look at what kinds of changes need to happen to the curriculum to make sure that we're using it to the best effect.
Thank you. Permission to follow up. So I'm assuming, like, you mentioned a little bit about how the SEMS curriculum or how other like arts and sciences fits into this. What's the purpose of having majors who maybe aren't specifically humanities oriented taking 9 to 12 credits in the humanities?
So they're taking 6 credits in the humanities. So the gen ed requirement is 6 credits in the humanities. And I'm going to echo our regional accreditor that requires that you take courses in the humanities in order to get a bachelor's degree in New England, and say that this is a really important foundation for thinking for no matter what field you're in, very similarly to why we require everyone to take 6 credits of math and math-related thinking, the mathematics and the quantitative and data literacy. This is about having a real broad foundation for knowledge. That's what the general education is about.
Okay, thank you.
Chair Plow.
Yeah, thank you for coming. I just had a few things to add and then a quick question. For everyone here, I was in charge of appointing the student to the Catamount Core Curriculum Committee, so if you're interested in getting in contact with her, I can give you her information if you want to talk with her. She's awesome. I'm also meeting with CAS to talk about how their curriculum is lining up, so if you're interested in that, I'm happy to have you join me in that meeting or just give you information. And then one more thing is, if you are taking a class that you think really fits a requirement and it's not listed as fitting that requirement, you can just tell the professor you think it'd be a good idea for them to apply. That's always something that's helpful in terms of getting the core curriculum in shape. And then my quick question was, when do the course approvals end? Like, when do professors have to apply by?
In order to, what will go into the fall 2023 catalog would be anything that gets approved by February 15th of 2023. However, it's ongoing. So it's not, just because it doesn't debut in the catalog in fall of 23 doesn't mean that, it's all over. classes are going to come in and out of this curriculum as faculty add more classes, or someone stops teaching a class, or they redesign a class and it no longer fits the criteria. So the classes will also be re-reviewed every 5 years to confirm that they're still fitting, and at that time, some faculty or departments may pull out a course and say, look, that one isn't working anymore, but we might put this one in instead.
Awesome, thank you.
Senator Smith.
Hello. You've mentioned a few times tonight that most majors and colleges have already have most of this curriculum as part of their requirements, and they're working it in, and that's going to be really easy. What can you say about majors that don't necessarily have these naturally built into their curriculum? Could you identify a few, and what are you guys doing to work on preventing some students who choose these majors from being disproportionately overloaded with credits as a result of this?
So one example, and it was one that was pointed out to us by our accreditors, was computer science, which actually had enough credits, but they weren't specific enough. They were put into a giant bucket of electives, as opposed to being laid out to ensure that students took the balance of the humanities and the social sciences and so forth. So plenty of CS majors were taking a lot of fine arts classes or a lot of humanities classes, but they weren't necessarily getting all of the balance of the different categories that would be required in the complete gen ed. So in some cases, it's really more about being simply more specific about the categories and types of classes that you would take. I don't think that we found a curriculum that was completely out of alignment. It was usually just one or two classes that needed to be kind of moved around, or the choices that were given to students needed to be broader to allow them to do both humanities and social sciences.
Can I follow up?
Sure.
My other, so you said that some of these majors don't have a lot of these are in specific enough detail. What is that going to do to students who are graduating without this new Catamount core? How are I don't want to say legitimacy of our degrees going to compare to those who are now going to graduate with these more specific and preferred by the accreditor?
So one thing I'll say is that everyone here is following a catalog, and the catalog is the legitimacy of your degree. It's one of the reasons that we protect the catalog, and we make sure that we don't have information that is not agreeing with the catalog. That is the book of truth with regard to the integrity of your degree. The faculty came together and chose to revamp the general education requirement, and that's a new requirement going through. I'm going to say again, I think everyone who's graduating from UVM is getting a great degree. We're just asking people to allocate the credits that they have available from their education into a slightly different set of categories. So I don't think it's just, it's about making sure that there's that common shared component of education, and I think that's just shifting to a more centralized UVM focused, as opposed to being really much more narrowly focused on your school or college. But I think you're all still getting great degrees.
Thank you.
Are there any further questions for our guest? We have time for maybe one more question. Seeing none, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak on public forum for 15 minutes? Come on up.
Thank you, Cyrus. I'm Keith Pillsbury.
Please use Keith, excuse me. Please use the mic so people online.
Oh, yes. Okay. I'm Keith Pillsbury, Ward 8's clerk. We vote next Tuesday, town meeting day in Vermont, and students who have residence in Burlington are allowed to register the same day as we vote and vote. If you live in Ward 8, we vote at Fletcher Free Library. And I am here to introduce a candidate that is going to be not on the ballot, but is a write-in candidate. Our former school board person from Ward 8 has chosen not to run again, so we needed to have another representative from Ward 8, and her name is Sasha, S-A-J-A, Almagali, A-L-M-A-G-A-L-I. Mogalli. This is the way it sounds, spelled the way it sounds. You need to write her name in if you would like to vote for her. I'm here today with two distinguished visitors. Our board chair, this is her 4th year as board chair of the Burlington School District, Claire Wool. And I want to introduce you to Sasha. I'm a proud person of this Sasha is a graduate of the Burlington High School, and I'm very proud of her. And I wanted you to know who she was and to hear from her and Claire. Thank you.
A mic, fancy. So, hi everybody, my name is Saja Mughali, and I am a student at UVM, junior, studying biology and minoring in health and society. I graduated from Burlington High School. I'm a resident here in Ward 8. My family immigrated from Iraq in 2017, but we immigrated to Turkey first, then to the US, and 3 days ago, I became a U.S. citizen, so that's exciting, and that's why I'm here, because now I have to do my job. I'm running to become a candidate in school board member, Ward 8. I spoke at the UN when I was in Burlington High School. I am a very active member in the community. And when I came to Burlington first, I had so many people who helped me to start school and build the whole community again and family and everything. So today I'm here to give back to the community. And I want you all to please help me with that. And in March 1st, yes, Freshly Free Library. Please, guys, vote for me. Write my name, Saja Mughali, and your voice matters, so please help me. And yeah, if you have any questions, please ask now. And if I can't answer your question, I promise I'll get back to you. I can give you my email, or you can just search me with the net ID. And yeah, please ask questions if you have.
Are there any questions for our guest? Senator Purple? Could you just spell your name one more time?
Yeah, of course. SAJAALMOGALLI.
Hi, I'm Claire Wool. Thank you for having us tonight. I sent Cyrus just now an email, so if you want to send it to your whole cabinet here with Saja's information, as well as the school board district budget one-pager to help students in Ward 8 help us support the ballot question number 1, which is the school board budget.
It's very important because both of my sisters go to Burlington High School, and there is no high school anymore. They go to the mall. So it's really, really time of struggle right now. So please, please, please do what you can. And please make your voice heard. Your voice matters. So please vote. Thank you, guys.
Any further questions? Seeing none, thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. Would anyone else like to speak on public forum for 15 minutes? Seeing none, we'll move on to old business. Seeing no old business, we'll move on to emergency business with the swearing in of one Chair Berkowitz. Real quick, though, we do have to vote on this. Would all those in favor of approving Chair Berkowitz please raise their placard and sing that and say aye? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? We'll come on up and we'll swear you in. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I hereby affirm that I will faithfully serve the students of the University of Vermont, act in accordance with the Student Government Association Constitution uphold the values of our common ground, and fulfill all duties and responsibilities of a Student Government Association Standing Committee Chair. Congratulations, Chair Berkowitz. Is there any further emergency business? Seeing none, is there any new business? Senator Purple?
Bill recognizing cryptocurrency and DeFi Club, DEFI.
Chairman?
Bill approving FY 2023 RSO budgets. Also, I have a question. Is this for the Tuesday where it's town meeting day?
This will actually be 3 Tuesdays from now.
So after spring break?
That's correct,
Okay.
yeah. Senator O'Hagan.
Bill recognizing Girl Gains UVM.
Senator Lista.
Bill recognizing Women in Computer Science Club.
Is there any further new business? Seeing none, we'll now move on to senatorial forum, beginning with Senator Dietrich and SGA and Living Well collaboration on a mental health project.
All right, hey everyone, how are we doing today? Good, awesome. Okay, so I'm super excited about this because obviously, as I've mentioned in SGA before, that we are doing a collaboration with Living Well here at UVM. Mental health is a very serious and important topic, as all of us know. And it is, it's one of my passion projects, and it's one of, it's just something of very high importance to me, and something that I know that a lot of us here are very dedicated on, like making aware to our society and just really making sure that we are all in this together and that we are all okay. So, I can do it, I don't mind. Yeah, we're good. So, today I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that we're currently hoping to achieve for the rest of this semester. So first, I'm going to talk about some of the initiatives we currently have on campus, and then I'm going to go over kind of like the best way to like move forward, and then what we need from each other from SGA in order for these projects to be successful, and then I'll take any questions at the end. So how are we doing with, I guess, mental health initiatives on campus? And we're doing pretty well. I know Living Well has been really busy with, I guess, like social media outreach, which is a bit of like a foreshadow of what we're doing with them on this project. And a lot of the things they're doing, like, I know they're doing like a TikTok trend of like the things that make sense, like the, you know, that sort of thing. I enjoy those. And so they like tour the office space, and they post about different events that they're having and different services they offer. And then we're also going to, I'll be explaining this later, sharing our own personal strategies for self-care and improving our mental health on Instagram stories and reels, video montages, and stuff like that. We also have our own mental health pamphlet that SGA created earlier this year. That was one of my projects that I take good pride in. And recently, Living Well made a post with a different collection of resources for survivors of SA. And currently they're also working on a really awesome and very in-depth initiative on, I guess, like the intersection of alcohol and consent with sexual assault cases. And it's, I have the link here, so I don't know if we have time to look at it during this, but I would highly recommend that you look at it because they're going to need our input for like how to move forward with this. It's a really awesome program that the University of Texas at Austin started not too long ago, and it's a really good example of how to create social change on campus, but also how to like change the culture established with it, so that way we don't have to deal with this ever again. So how do we move forward? Last semester, we did a lot of messaging about, I guess, just like stay hydrated or like really basic things that didn't really stick with students. And since mental health is such a diverse topic and it has so many different aspects to it, we kind of want to focus on ways where we can make it personal and where we can also make it intersectional, because mental health is different for everyone, and it's like coping is, I have it here, coping is not one size fits all. And we all have our ways, we all have our methods of going about it, and it's also a really great thing to do so that way we can all come together in this time of strife and conflict in our community at this point in the semester. So I'm going to go more in depth on our collaboration with Living Well. So how we can help, I'm going to need all of your help. This is voluntary, but I would really like as much participation as possible. So we're going to do a couple of different social media takeovers. And I guess our main campaign for this is going to be what works for you. So I would like it if you could submit like a video of yourself talking about kind of what methods work for you, I guess, in terms of promoting your mental health and your well-being. So we're thinking of making like a video montage. So this is a really good opportunity to connect with our students and just like let them know that we're here and like we have like all our different ways of going about this. We're also thinking of Instagram Reels, but we're just gonna go ahead and like just put like all like the social media networking out there so that we can put out our ideas and kind of see how everyone responds. So I have my email up here, either brooke.dietrich@uvm.edu or this without the H, with your video or message attached. We're also going to work with CAPS counselors and BIPOC counselors. That way we can address different aspects of mental health resources and make sure everything is covered there. We're also going to retrofit different resources, such as like the basic things from our pamphlet in a tote bag idea, which is coming very soon. I'll be discussing that in a minute. But what we really like about what works for you is because it's so like, I guess, broad, but it's very personalized at the same time. And it's just also, it's a really good way to share diverse approaches to promoting well-being. And also, I really recommend participating in this because it's such a good transparency moment for us as senators connecting with students, because a lot of us don't know, like, as students what we do on SGA, and like they don't really know necessarily who we are. So I feel like this is a really good opportunity to, like, I guess, just connect one-on-one. And it's also really authentic too, just hearing from us. And it's also, it gives us power to unify as one campus. So we have a thing where we're gonna do tabling and totes. So we're gonna create a design on a cute little tote bag, and I have it as in my bag, tote bag, but I'm gonna change that, I think. But so far we're thinking of putting like a different retrofitted mental health resource pamphlet in there, as long with like handwritten notes. It's like, you got this, you're doing great. And we also have a Spotify link to a mental health support playlist, which this is our beautiful design that we're thinking of for the tote. I give credit to Chair Henson for that. We're thinking of like just a simple like moving and grooving like sort of tagline to go along with that. But if you want to pull your phones out, you can scan this Spotify code if you'd like, and you can like the playlist. There are no songs on there yet, but we will be getting that up and running, and that's on our SGA account for Spotify. So I'll leave this up for a second, but I'll take any questions now.
We have questions beginning with Senator Liezos.
Hi, thank you so much. I have two questions. One, where is the SGA mental health pamphlet? And with it, if it is available online, I would love to gauge interest in sending this out to the club signers. As me as a club signer, the documents and trainings I've received from SGA trainings, I directly disseminate to athletes and participants, and that helps with the culture as well. And with our weekly club signer email list, we try to send resources. I was curious if this is a resource that could be sent to the club signers to disseminate to athletes and participants.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that we are creating a new playlist like for this project specifically, but we do have our original pamphlets in the Living Well office center. And yes, that would be great getting club signers involved with this. I feel like, that's a great idea.
Would it be, what's the word? Is the pamphlet something that can be downloaded as a PDF or as a Word doc? Can it be sent over email?
I can make it online. We just have it printed for now, but I think that would be a good idea if we made it like an online source.
Wonderful. And within the email, say, pick up physical copies at SGA. But yeah, I think that, thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Senator McCary.
Hi.
Hi.
So with the What Works For You videos, are you thinking just having SGA participants, or were you thinking like, could you send it out to club signers as well to participate and get more student leaders involved, or would you want it to be sort of more of a closed environment for that?
I think originally we were thinking of having SGA members because this was an SGA and Living Well collab. But I wouldn't be opposed to putting in club signers. We'd just have to go over a couple of details for that, but that's a good question.
Vice President Stevens.
Hey, thanks so much for doing this. This is awesome. I did have a quick question. What is the name? Is it like UVM SGA on Spotify, or what is that?
Yes, I believe it's UVM Student Government Association. I can also drop the link to the profile in the GroupMe.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
Chair Berkowitz.
My question was answered, but thank you for doing this. This is really cool.
Are there any further questions or comments on this subject? Well, I have one, and I'll yield the gavel to the Vice President. What specifics, what do you, in the What Works For Me video, what do you want from us? Like how long do you want it to be? Do you want us to introduce ourselves? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I think just as long as you introduce yourself and you just share, I guess, in terms of promoting your mental health or promoting your own wellness, what works for you. I go to yoga, or I go for a run, or I watch Netflix or something like that. Just something simple, maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Further questions or comments? Senator Siegel.
Hey there. Do you think you can just, after this, just drop kind of everything in the GroupMe of just whether you want it to be horizontal and vertical and how long, just so we can look at it when we.
Yeah, I can give you more details. We're also meeting with Jennifer Schasberger from Living Well, I guess relatively soon, maybe in 1 or 2 weeks. So once we have all that information set up, I will drop it in the group chat.
Further questions?
Oh, I have a comment. Yeah. Also, we're thinking of doing this tabling with the tote bags, I guess mid-April. So keep your calendars open if you want to stop by and grab a tote bag, or if you want to help us and volunteer. So that's what we're thinking.
Anything else? Seeing none, great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Should I just leave this?
Yeah, just leave it on. Okay. Would anyone else like to speak on senatorial forum? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to executive reports, beginning with my own. Yield the gavel to the Vice President. Actually, real quick, I'm going to switch this back to the agenda. How do we like this setup where I did it 1 for public forum, 2 for, okay, cool, just checking. No Senate next week. We only meet when there's classes. Just like a simple rule for planning. Judicial Committee is in the process of editing the Constitution and operational documents, so if you have a moment, you're paging over the Constitution, and you see something that's weird, send it my way. Either that's a discrepancy between what we're doing and what we should be doing, or what we shouldn't be doing and what we're doing. And finally, after I was paging through the Constitution with the members of Judicial Committee, we found some things that thought should maybe be reiterated to the Senate as a whole body. So this is from the Constitution, and I'm going to pull out a few points. This is Article 4, Section A, number 6. It says, upon taking the oath of office for the senators of the Student Government Association, a few logistical things in E says, each member shall attend weekly committee meetings. If unable to do so, members must meet one-on-one with their chair. G says, each member shall respond to correspondence from their committee chair in a timely manner. A timely manner will be at the chair's discretion and be made known at the beginning of the semester. H says, each member shall attend events around campus, both those sponsored by SGA and those not. And number I finally says, each member shall be involved in at least one initiative per semester. These are things that I found to be, well, kind of like, of course, but also please continue to do these things. Thus ends my report. I'll take any questions.
Are there any questions for the speaker? Seeing none, I'll yield the gavel back.
Now move on to the Vice President's report.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well. First, thank you all for coming, or most of you for coming to the grand opening. I was very happy with how it turned out. Definitely would have loved to see some more like admin and people and club signers, but I thought it was still very fun, and I enjoyed meeting some new and seeing some new faces in the office. Second, congratulations to Chair Berkowitz. Very excited to see all you do leading COE. Next, I'm just going to touch on what can be a sensitive topic with sexual violence, and just so everyone knows. But I just kind of wanted to address the post that was made last week and that kind of residual feelings and impact that that's had with myself, as well as other people I've talked to, and how I've seen that on campus. And I just wanted to let you know that I'm all here for you if you ever need anything or want to talk or need resources. I know that was there's a lot of feelings associated with that post. And I've been in like a meeting with Patty and the provost and vice provost for student affairs, kind of discussing that, and there's obviously a lot more work to be done. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there, that I know that's been weighing heavily on a lot of people, and myself included, and I would love to keep the conversation going, so feel free to text me, call me, whatever. But next, reminder to get tested. This week, the incentive prize is a $50 gift card to Waterworks. Pretty good, if you ask me. We also are still looking for an elections chair. Please come talk to me. I know there's a little bit of interest. I'm going to start reaching out to some people that I think would be a good fit. Definitely don't forget to vote. I know we just heard from Saja, which was great. And then please take care of yourself, and let me know if I can take anything off your plate at all. I'll take questions.
Questions for the VP? Seeing none, we'll move on to the President's report.
Good evening, everyone. I hope the beginning of your week has been going well. I don't have much to report, so I'll just add a few reminders, a few of which have already been covered, so my bad. Remember to complete the campus climate survey. Your input is super important to how the administration basically understands how we feel about UVM and how they can improve it. We don't have Senate next week because it's town hall meeting, and then not the week afterwards because of spring break, just FYI. But next week it is town hall meeting day, so if you're registered in Burlington, please go vote in your local elections. If you're interested in running for president and have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to schedule a chat or answer any questions that you may have. It was great to see almost all of you at the Galaxy Space opening party. Thank you, Vice President Stevens, for your help in coordinating that. And as always, just feel free to reach out to me if you need anything at all. Always around, always up. So yeah, that concludes my report.
Questions for the President? Seeing none, we'll move on to the Treasurer's report. Seeing as there's no Treasurer, we'll move on to committee reports, beginning with Seesaw.
No Chair Henson tonight. Everyone's doing good work. Before you vote, check and see if you can do it in your state that you're from. I'm from Atlanta, so it's silly to vote in Burlington. So just do that before you vote. Cool.
Any questions for Seesaw? Seeing none, we'll move on to club affairs. Chair Wong, if you're speaking online, we can't hear you. I'll go to the computer.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
You can hear me? Okay, cool. Hi everyone. Sorry I can't be there in person again, but hopefully my ankle will be mostly healed up by the time our 2-week hiatus comes off. So hopefully I'll be in person then. I hope you all are doing well. We have a lot of club recognitions coming in through our committee, so that's really awesome to see. I'm really proud of all my senators. Senator O'Hagan is working on the March event. We are securing our keynote and getting catering and stuff for it. So let me or her know if you are interested at all in helping with that. And I also would, of course, love all of you to attend as well. I believe, Senator O'Hagan, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like March 21st, I believe. Okay, great. I see a little thumbs up. Okay, awesome. So mark that in your calendars. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Questions for club affairs? Seeing none, we'll move on to academic affairs.
Hey everyone, hope you're having an okay week. Shout out Olivia for the wonderful opening of the Galaxy Space. Since Treasure Rodin's not here, want to plug fashion show this weekend. Buy your tickets. I'm going to be there. I know a lot of people are going to be there. It's going to be really fun. We're all just killing our projects over here on academic affairs, chugging along, and so I don't need to give you the full rundown on all that again. If you are on the advising task force, you finally should have gotten an email. If you did not get an email, tell me. And if you did get the email, respond to the email. That's all. Thank you.
Questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to public relations.
Hi y'all, I hope you're having a great week and enjoyed your long weekend. PR is getting some really great work done, and I just wanted to specifically shout out Senator Rabshir, who's spearheading the newsletter. So chairs and exec, please send some information about what you're working on and what your committees are working on by March 2nd. And then senators, if you're working on something cool outside of Senate or in Senate, please send it to him too, so that way we can give you a shout out. Also, on March 2nd, we're tabling from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's for everybody on Senate, can take a shift. Senator Huntress sent out a sign up in the group me, and she'll drop the link again after Senate. I met with Maddie White, who's kind of like the informal advisor for PR this coming week, and we have some really exciting things coming up and getting planned, so everyone should stay tuned. As always, I'm here, and if you need anything, please reach out. That concludes my report.
Questions for PR? Seeing none, we'll move on to COE.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for, I guess, voting for letting me be chair. Thanks. Really excited, and really excited to continue to work with COE because everyone's really awesome. Happy Tuesday, forgot to say that. Not too many updates. We sent out all of our emails to the eco clubs. The Comprehensive Sustainability Plan Working Group meetings are officially starting March 1st, so we're very excited for that. If you have any suggestions for anything related to Earth Week, we have $2,500 to spend for anything but, most likely a guest speaker. So if you know any cool people that you want to see come speaking here during Earth Week, please reach out to Caitlin or Senator Henry. And if you are interested in participating in the CAP ad hoc project about doing some research on comparator institutions, climate action plans, please reach out to Senator Boudreau. This concludes my report.
Questions for COE? Seeing none, we'll move on to CODI.
Hi, Chair Forbes couldn't be here tonight, unfortunately, but I'm going to read her report for her. She says, happy Tuesday. Sorry I couldn't be here. Not much to update over here in CODI. We're just chugging along. She's beginning SFAM meetings on Monday. That's at 3:30 in the SJA office for April's Sexual Violence Awareness Month. If you have any interest in getting involved, please contact or email her And everything else is pretty much the same. We're doing a lot of great work over here in Kodai. All our projects are going well. And she says to have a great Tuesday and take care of yourself this week. Thus concludes Maeve's report.
Questions for Kodai? Seeing none, we'll move on to finance.
Honestly, don't have anything to report. So we're doing well over here, but yeah, that concludes my report.
Questions about any of that? Seeing none, we'll move on to Kolka.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing swell. I'm meeting with Psychedelic Science Club on Thursday. I think Senator Purple might be coming to talk about them doing community outreach stuff with harm reduction, so that's exciting. If you want to come to the Community Coalition this Friday at 3 p.m., I would love to see some people outside of Kolka there, so just text me and I can send you the Zoom link. I'm also looking for help with the Burlington Police Department Public Forum, so if you have hosted a Microsoft Teams event before, I would love to know how you did that. Senator Eisenberg heard back from the janitorial staff today on getting menstrual products in all of our bathrooms, so hopefully that's moving forward. And then don't forget to vote next Tuesday, and if you're not registered in Vermont but you would like to get registered, text me and I can help you figure all that out. It's pretty easy. And then I've been doing history facts, but this one was actually a quote that was said a year ago today by Merrick Garland, who, I hope you know who Merrick Garland is, but he said, implicit bias, and this is Black History Month, implicit bias just means every human being has biases. The point of examining implicit biases is to bring out our conscious mind up to our unconscious mind and to know when we are behaving in a stereotyped way. So I thought that was important because implicit bias means every single one of us has some sort of bias within ourselves, but if you can recognize that bias and you're intentionally not acting on those things that that are inside of you, it makes you just a better person, more anti-racist, more feminist, just a better person. So keep that in mind and have a good week.
Questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to senatorial comments and announcements. Are there any senatorial comments or announcements? Wow. Senator Fleming.
I'm surprised Senator Siegel didn't say anything, but Night of Change is, what, Friday? It's Friday this week, one of the biggest philanthropy events done by FSL. I recommend that everyone buys a ticket. They are still on sale. They're about $8.50 per, and we have 4 local bands playing. It's going to be a great night, and it's all for a great cause.
Any further senatorial comments or announcements? Chair Wood.
I have a squash match at 8 p.m. on Thursday, and none of my friends came to watch me last week, so if you would like to come observe me through the little window on Thursday, text me and I'll let you know.
Vice President Stevens, you had a question?
My question was for the Night of Change. Did you just want to plug the philanthropies again that it's going towards?
Yes, so all the money that from the tickets will be going to St. Jude's Hospital and HopeWorks.
Further senatorial comments or announcements? Anything online? No. Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? On see y'all after spring break.